Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Bank Shop Breakdown. We're going to go over 5 college basketball games for Thursday, December 8th, 2022. Now, if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comments section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, you can always find those at the Premium Picks tab at pickdawgz.com. Alrighty, let's get into it. Here are the games for Thursday, December 8th. First up, we see Rutgers taking on Ohio State. This one's going to be a 7 o'clock Eastern start time on ESPN2. You know, Rutgers is a defensive juggernaut. They're number 6 in the country in adjusted defensive efficiency. They're 10th in forcing turnovers, number 1 perimeter defense in the country. But on the other side, you got a flip side here with Ohio State, who's number 3 in the country in adjusted offensive efficiency. A very good shooting team. And the big advantage I see with Ohio State's offense is the fact that they're number 7 in the country in offensive rebounding percentage. And Rutgers on defense, the one thing that they've struggled with is those defensive rebounds. And they're not really collecting the defensive glass at a great rate this season. That's where I think Ohio State is going to take advantage in this game. And as much as I'd love to take a good defensive underdog in a conference game and a big-time matchup, this is also kind of a worrisome letdown spot after the big-time upset that Rutgers already pulled off against Indiana last time out. That was a home game. Now you're on the road here where you're already 0-1 to start the season in your only road game of the season in Miami. The other game that you were away from home was a neutral site against Temple. You lost that game as well. So, Rutgers has not won a game where they have not been at home, and I can't trust them in this spot. So give me Ohio State laying the points. Next up, we see another great matchup between Iowa State and Iowa. I got to say, this is a very small card here for Thursday's college hoops action, but there's only 8 games on the board. But some of the games are really, really fascinating. We got Rutgers, Ohio State, this matchup between 2 rivals. You also got the Colorado State-Colorado game that we're going to talk about in a little bit. So, if it's going to be a small card like this, at least we get to see some of these great matchups. And this should be another fantastic game between 2 rivals, in-state rivalry in Iowa State, Iowa. But, we got 2 completely different styles, in my opinion, of basketball teams. You got Iowa State 13th in adjusted defensive efficiency. They like to slow things down. They force a ton of turnovers on defense, a very good perimeter defense. On the other side, you got Iowa, who's number 6 in the country in adjusted offensive efficiency. They don't turn the ball over. You got the number 1 team in turnover percentage on defense in Iowa State facing the number 1 team in turnover percentage on offense in Iowa. So I don't think Iowa State's their big thing that they do on defense. I don't think it's going to work out in this kind of game against a team that takes care of the basketball so well like Iowa does. Now, I do think Iowa's defense is better than Iowa State's offense, and that's why I do like the Hawkeyes in this game. Also, the fact that they're home, and I do think being the home team, you're going to be able to dictate the style, the pace of play in this one. Iowa likes to speed things up. They're number 12 in the country in average possession length. I think it's going to be able to work here in this type of matchup. Iowa State is taking down some tough teams, coming off that big win over St. John's, but we were on them. We laid the points with Iowa State, but this is just not a good matchup on the road. The first true road game of the year, by the way, for Iowa State. So give me Iowa here, laying the points. The Hawkeyes laying the points. Next up, we see Marshall taking on Duquesne. This one's going to be a 7 o'clock Eastern start time on ESPN+. This is a pretty tough game to handicap, in my opinion, because you got 2 teams that are in great form. Duquesne's on a 6-game win streak, Marshall on a 7-game win streak, but neither team has really had a battle-tested schedule. Yes, Duquesne does have that game against Kentucky, but they lost that game by 25 points in the end. Their most impressive win is probably a game against Colgate at the beginning of the year. Marshall, their most impressive win recently over Akron on November 30th. So, both teams have some solid wins, nothing crazy, no top 100 wins in KenPom. I do lean towards the under in this game because I do think both offenses off to a little bit of unsustainably good starts, as Marshall's shooting the ball very well. They're not turning the ball over much at all. 37th ranked in 2-point field goal percentage. Duquesne, 19th ranked in 3-point field goal percentage. So I don't think that those shooting percentage numbers are going to hold up by the end of the year. These are both very good offenses, but I also think the defenses aren't as bad as also what we've seen this season. Marshall likes to speed things up on offense, but they also like to slow things down defensively, ranked 261st in average possession length on defense. I think both defenses step it up a bit in this game. I'm going to go with the under in Marshall-Duquesne. Next up, we see St. Thomas taking on Montana State. This one's going to be a 9 o'clock Eastern start time on ESPN+. I think Montana State is a more balanced team, and I think that's going to benefit them in this spot. They've been battle-tested. They played a lot of neutral site and road games this season. This is only the second home game all year for Montana State, and the first home game was against a subdivision opponent in Warner Pacific. So this is the first Division I home game Montana State has had. I like that in teams where they schedule really tough schedules. It benefits them in these types of games. It also benefits them in conference play. Now, St. Thomas has also scheduled a pretty decent schedule. A couple of tough road games, Creighton, Montana, Utah, but they've struggled on the road. They're 1-3 overall this season away from home. They're one win over a Milwaukee team that's not really great this season. So, St. Thomas is a great shooting team. Number 10 in the country in three-point shooting. Number 4 in the nation in effective field goal percentage. But the defense is so bad, and so it's kind of hard to watch at times. Ranked 343rd in the country in adjusted defensive efficiency. They don't force any turnovers. They're not very good in the glass. And I don't like the spot here on the road against a good Montana State team that, like I said, has faced a lot of tough teams. So give me Montana State laying the points. And in our final game of the night, we see a great matchup between Colorado State and Colorado. This one, a 9 o'clock Eastern start time on ESPN2. A great matchup between two teams that are ranked inside the top 100 in KenPom. Colorado State number 89 and Colorado number 61. I do think that Colorado needs to get credit for the schedule that they have this season. They already beat Tennessee in a semi-road game, and they played UMass, Texas A&M, Boise State, Yale, Arizona State, Washington. These are all top 150 teams in KenPom. And, Colorado State, they're off to a 6-3 start this season. But you look at their most impressive win, a game against South Carolina, perhaps, Loyola Marymount. Nothing really crazy, in my opinion. The 3 losses were, 2 of those losses were either at a neutral site or on the road. The other loss was a bad home loss to Northern Colorado, an upset loss in that one. So, Colorado State's shooting the ball very well, but I don't really trust this defense, especially on the road. Only the second true road game of the season. And Colorado, I think, is more battle-tested. I think they're better defensively, a good rebounding team that can compete on the glass with Colorado State. And I think Colorado's honestly the better team. So I'm going to take Colorado here and lay the points in this rivalry matchup. Should be a great game. Not my favorite game on the board, just in terms of a pretty tough game to handicap between two good teams. But I'm leaning towards the Buffs in this one, laying the points. And that's it. Those are the games we're going to talk about for Thursday in college basketball. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comment section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can always find those at Pickdawgz Premium. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.